So Adam, you just come back from your time in Zambia, obviously representing Zimbabwe. How did that go about? How did that feel?
Yeah, no, it was. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, my dad was born in Zimbabwe, so obviously he comes from that heritage. Born and raised, has family over there. Went more when I was younger, before a lot of stuff went on over there, so I stopped going. But yeah, no, the experience was. I went with an open mind. And I was happily surprised. The lads welcomed me with open arms. They're just as crazy as me, which made me fit in really well. And the atmosphere in the games was I haven't experienced some of the. They celebrate stepovers. It's all attacking flair. A lot of freedom being played with. It was a different experience, but one I'm happy with. And
2 games played. While you're out there, plenty of actions, plenty of penalties going around. It seemed to all have it really in the 2 matches.
Yeah, had it all. We were the better team in both games. We dominated throughout. We had great energy, great attacking flair. 2-1 up in both games to the last minute. A shame we lost both games on penalties. I was happy to score one in the first game, obviously on my debut, which is always, I think, I'll remember for when I look back on my career, to be a very special moment for me. But as a team, it was something to build on. Like we done really well out there. We got the a cup, another tournament, the Kosovo in end of May till the start of June, and then we got the AFCON qualifiers coming up in September, which they seem to want me to come back for. So I obviously had a good impression on the staff.
Did you get much chance to have a look in the country, or look around the country of Zambia, or was it all mainly just training and playing the games, that side of things?
Yeah, I mean, it was mainly focusing on the games. I would have loved to have been around. If you've seen some of the poverty out there, it was actually quite eye-opening to how lucky you have it back in England, to be honest. Kids fighting for water. It just makes you look at life differently when you see stuff like that. But it was a great experience. As I said, I hold that quite dear to me as a first experience in Zambia. It made me grow as a person and hold things close to me, tighter.
You touched on it earlier, but I'm guessing there must be quite a lot of differences between the kind of hustle and bustle of League One football to obviously playing, on the African continent and playing at an international level as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of pace, power, and they go hell for leather out there. There's not much build up in the play. It's go for goal and go for excitement, and it was nice to be involved in that different atmosphere. The fans are great. I mean, in the first game against Zambia, who obviously hold the tournament, was there's near on 30,000 there cheering on their team. So for us to be beating them, and even they welcomed me in. They said this. They called me Brino, which is like good in Zambia. So it felt like they welcomed me. Even the Zambian fans, they were all saying how well I played in the first game, which was great to hear. But obviously, I just done what I normally did, and I got welcomed by Zimbabwe fans and Zambian fans who watched the game.
Obviously, you mentioned is it obviously international football? It must have been a great honour, I guess, to play at that level. Did you speak to many of your family from that sort of, the Zimbabwean side, but maybe before or afterwards, kind of see how things were going?
Well, not so much. I mean, my dad spoke to all his family out, and they were just so proud, telling me all, what they were saying in the news, how the game went, how well I went down in Zimbabwe. Obviously not speaking Shona, which is the language out there, but even being able to communicate so well with them. I mean, I think football language is quite universal, so for me it was just about being the confident to talk to your teammates and bond quickly with them. It's the same thing. If you bond quickly with them and not go into your shell when you get out there, you're going to get on with them quite well and bred in quite quickly. So yeah, but back to your question, it was my family obviously knew I was all out there. Some are moved across to Australia, but the main majority on my dad's side is out there, and they were all happy for me, and that's what you need. You need backing from your family, that the support is there, and I could just go enjoy my football, and that's what I did, and it was great.
You touched on it earlier. Obviously, You are obviously an English-born player, English-based player. How did you find it, obviously, going into, I'm guessing, what was a predominantly African-based sort of camp? Obviously, you will have had your upbringing, that experience. So was it quite easy to adapt and to drop into it, I guess?
Yeah, I find it quite easy, but just because of I think how I am. You put me in a situation, I just want to, do what's right for the team, and that's whether the language barrier is there or not. I wanted to get in and around the lads, whether they were dancing on the bus with their music or, on the way to the game, which is not normal for us. You'd normally be on the boat, just sitting in your individual seats, etc. They were out dancing, and it was just an unreal experience, and I can't tell you how much it's made me grow as a person.
Obviously, we know you answered it earlier about your links with your father, obviously being born in Zambia, in Zimbabwe. But how did you know about the interest, first of all, of the Zimbabwean national team wanting to select you, for their squad?
Well, obviously, with how the team were doing at the start of the season, I actually got a message from the manager when I was on my surgery bed for my first operation on my injury. So to get that text. Being called from my agent saying I was called up for Zimbabwe, and obviously just torn my hip flexor, it sort of put a dampener on it, because obviously we were all doing so well individually and as a team. It came about sort of then, but I knew I just had to get back fit and get back head down doing what I was doing before, and hopefully their call would come back again, and it did. So it was quite easy for me to go out there.
And you mentioned about the tournaments coming forward. Has it kind of whet your appetite for more to represent Zimbabwe more going forward?
Yeah, of course. When you play in atmospheres like that, even like our home fans, which are great, and you have that numbers in fans and gives you that excitement. It's the same internationally, and obviously they've got big tournaments coming up and big qualifiers, which are only going to hold more fans in those qualifiers. It excites me, and that's what you want, even if it's during your off season. You want to still be involved in something international if you can, and if not, then you would obviously train hard for the season next year. But to have something there in the off season ready to be hungry for, it's different for me, but I'm excited.